Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Crystal, and you're just chilling with JK. We are a married couple
with 3 beautiful kids
from Brooklyn, New York. Come chill as we discuss
whatever the we want.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, y'all.
We are happy to have you.
Yes.
This is the last episode of the month.
Like we said, we committed to 4 episodes every month, every Saturday. And let's get the show on the road.
We are discussing homeschool.
Homeschooling now.
And if you know us and you watched our vlogs, you know that we've spoken this word many times.
Yeah, since 2018.
When our first child started school, attending pre-K. If you live in New York, you understand that the school system here is crazy in terms of getting into a good school, in a good district. And if you don't live in this specific zone, then
redlining is real.
You'll basically be left with whatever's left. And so this conversation, happened, like he said, in 2018. And we just had to figure it out. And literally, like, last minute, I was like, screw it, I'll just figure out homeschooling. And I applied for it, submitted all the paperwork for, registering Lucas for pre-K. But then I don't even know how this option came up, but we ended up going to a pre-K near where we used to live. And Jeffrey ended up going to that school when he was a kid.
Yeah, I went there for kindergarten and first grade. And
so pre-K is free in New York. So he was able to attend that school for pre-K. It's a Catholic school, so we didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But we just basically did it because also at the time I was pregnant.
Yep, with Nash, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And we ended up liking the teachers.
Yes, we did. It was a cool process. And, they had their flaws, and it's understandable because, the school's underfunded.
And also, it's a lot of kids. So,
yeah,
teachers having to do this and that with other kids. Nobody's going to take care of your kid like you can. So,
exactly.
And then we're also, like we told y'all, like very involved parents. So, take that however you want to take it.
Yeah.
We are very involved. And, a teacher doesn't do something or whatever, I'm going to say something. So.
Yeah, especially having a vegan diet. So it was like, always some kind of something going on.
I forgot about that. That was a lot of in that school, like having to.
But it happened a lot this
telling.
First semester in person. So it happened a lot more with Millie than it did, ever. I felt like most of the teachers respected our decisions, and now it's like, whoa, what's happening here? But let me not fast forward to here. Let's continue the journey. So after 2018 and putting him in Catholic school, he thrived in there and it was fine. So now after pre-K, we have to get him in the school for kindergarten. So
and that was
a panic. Yeah. Because we didn't want him to go to the zone school. We visited multiple public schools, that we were like kind of accepted in. And I think the last one we went to was PS 11 or something like that. I'm not sure.
Babe, we didn't go to public schools for Lucas.
Yes, we did.
We did?
Yeah. We went scouting public schools just in case because we weren't sure.
Yes, we did.
You know how many public schools I drove to?
Yes, we
outside
did.
our zone because I didn't want him to go to the one that I went to, and the fact that that school is definitely underfunded right now.
Listen, when I researched that school, that was our zone school, it had levels 0 for math and reading.
Yeah,
and
it's ridiculous.
It was like insane because I was looking at it and I was so shocked. You know, like our communities aren't being given resources or teachers. You know, I understand why, you know, it's at 0.
Yeah.
And then even we had that debate on whether, like, well, if we're taking our kid out of this school and everybody's doing that, then it's never going to get fixed, right?
Exactly.
And then at the time, I'm like, do I really want to fight this battle? Do I want to be that involved parent that goes and try to make a move, a change? You know, with my pregnant belly and like,
sacrifice my kids'
sacrifice
education,
our kids' education. But really, would it be sacrificing? Because, you know, we would still be technically reteaching them. But
how
everything.
much? I know, but how much effort you would have to put in for it to be a change inside the school building?
Well, yeah, to put it in the school, but for our kid, we would still have put in the level of this is all they gave you. Like we would have supplemented with more.
Exactly.
But you're right with all that involves in trying to restructure a school, even if they would even allow us to restructure the school and all of the politics. And I feel like we're just making excuses and we should have just did it because we could have helped somebody along the way. It's just like right now, like,
listen,
look, let me just give you this example. Listen,
Madam,
we didn't do it, so it doesn't even matter now. But what I'm saying is,
but going forward too, don't even think that you're going to be a public school savior.
You never know. We could have been. But let me give you this one example. Let me give you this one example. Look at what happened in our school when we found out that they weren't washing our kids' hands with soap and water during a damn panini. Okay?
Yeah.
And me sending out that email and
woke up everybody
calling
again
the school and the teachers and then sending out the email to the PTA. No, we're not there.
All right.
I know, but I'm using this as an example because what did you say to me? Look at you making all these changes in the school and da-da-da-da-da. Because now all the parents were emailing the school talking about how could y'all not wash their hands during, you know, what's happening now. And, you know, it's even more serious things that can be happening.
Which changed the policy immediately.
So even with that, you said, oh, look, you changed. You look at you being a whole revolution.
When
I know he was just joking. You know? But I'm just saying, like, we could have did that with public school, you know, but again, like, I feel like, yes, it would have taken a lot of energy that I did not have at the time because I was also going through personal things. However, like, if we all thought the way we did at that time, nothing is going to change, just like nothing's changing now with all public schools, right? You really have to be invested in your community.
Exactly.
And want to change it or even see a change.
I'll see the possibilities of a change. Yeah.
And then with all the gentrifiers coming into that neighborhood, nobody was sending their kids to that school because we would walk our kids every day. Well, our kid every day to school, and we would see the gentrifiers getting on a yellow school bus or
got a private school bus
to the
picking
subway.
them up.
You know, they're not going to that school. That was the zone school. You know, so it was just like, dang, like, why should my kid have to sacrifice? But I also read something, and recently, I'm going off on a tangent, but it kind of fits in.
Yeah, let's go.
Basically, like, Black people are in a struggle. No matter what level they are in success. The only way that real change can happen is when white people, right, or people who have privilege, right, come in to help and fix what's happening, what's going on, what's wrong with whatever community, right? So now if these white people who are the gentrifiers of that neighborhood sent their kids to that school and this is what it is, we're going to change it now, then the school system would change, right? But me just being a Black woman who just was hitting her 30s, these teachers are probably older women, older men, principals, whoever, office people. They're probably gonna like, look at this young girl, what's she talking about? You know, like, this has been happening for years. They're probably all stuck in their ways, you know. But it's a different vibe when people of privilege, white people, come in and want the change to happen. And I definitely do believe that it can't just only be us, right? It has to be everyone working together to make that change. It's just like with racism too.
Exactly.
You know? But not to go off on a tangent, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if they would step in and send their kids to that school and want to make a change, the money will flow in. The teachers will change their whole mentality if they want to keep their jobs, right?
Yep.
So all that to say is we never sent our kids to that school.
No, we didn't.
And we also, have bougie.
We're not bougie. We just have high standards when it comes to things in our lifestyle. And
well, apparently we have bougie taste, because where we sent our kids to school in the neighborhood, it's like
uppity up.
Uppity up.
It's all good. The thing is, when you're striving to give your kids the best, you're willing to do anything. But on that note, with what Crystal was saying, basically you're saying that the people that cause the problem should be fixing the problem. That's how I felt what you were saying. So, not saying all Caucasian people are the problem, but I'm just saying.
All right. But if you take offense to what I said and you're a white person and you're a person of privilege, then that's something that you need to fix, because this is our experience, and this has been the experience of millions of Black people still today. So if you feel some type of way about that, then maybe you should find a community to help.
Yeah,
right?
Check yourself. If you would like to leave a voice message, please check us out on anchor.fm/justchillingwithjk.
But anyway,
back to while we're homeschooling now.
Right. So this has been a long process of us figuring out what we're going to do with our children in terms of school. And like for us, we definitely didn't think we were going to be living in the communities that we do live in now, only because we were planning on doing other things, right?
Yes.
Living in different places.
Yep.
And so we didn't think this problem would have arisen at this pace, I guess, because of all of our expectations of where our lives should be. Yeah. And you can go listen to our other episodes to hear more about all of our expectations. I think it was our first episode.
Exactly.
But then when it came to Lucas and getting into kindergarten, he got into the school that we wanted him.
After all that.
It worked out because we also knew one of the teachers that worked in the school, and she would look out for him, like a second mom, trying to like make sure nobody is messing with my Lucas.
Exactly.
So we had that as a benefit, and we just knew like, okay, cool. Once she's there, she'll look out for him, and he's good. I'm good. I feel comfortable. Also, this is our first child we're experiencing, sending them off to school without us.
Exactly.
Never went to be a babysitter other than like your mom, my sister. That was it. So for us, this is a whole new experience, and so we're just like nervous, So now the panini happened.
Yeah.
And, remote learning was a struggle, because the remote learning we knew for first grade wasn't it for the second half of kindergarten.
Well, hold on. Before we get into that, this school was phenomenal, when we got in.
This section, this area, this specific school.
Before the panini, the school was on point, and it was one of the top tier schools within its, umbrella. Within its umbrella, it was probably like top 3. So with that being said, we felt like, pretty much won the lottery, having our kid in that school. And it was an amazing experience being, a parent, being able to, go on those field trips and, I
forgot all of our field trips. That's so crazy, because I never got to go on one. Oh, one. I did.
You went on one. And I stayed home, and experiencing that with him, and just respecting our vegan culture and all of that. It was phenomenal. Good energy. And then panini happened, and then that's when we're like, whoa, what's happening here?
Well, what I will give credit for is that they were the first to go remote. Second, they distributed computers ASAP. They set up a system, a schedule, you need to log on, you need to log off at this time, whatever. They gave a schedule.
But most
That
of the
was
paperwork was on us. Like
everything was on us. Teaching wise, it
Everything.
wasn't really structured in terms of like the lectures, whatever, like teaching them like how to add or whatever, like whatever instructions you would get before the child actually does it. Like it wasn't really processing well. And so I had to step in a lot. And then when I get frustrated, Jeffrey had to step in a lot. It really took a toll on me. It's to the fact that I stopped breastfeeding without really saying I'm going to stop breastfeeding, because Nash literally had just turned 1 and my goal was to breastfeed him till he turned 2. And so like,
you did about 18 months.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, for my last child, I wanted to be the one to make the decision of I'm going to stop breastfeeding. You know what I mean? And so like the fact that like I was literally on the remote learning, teaching the stuff that, because he wasn't getting it because they weren't really
explaining
like, it was literally 20 minutes and then they had to go do everything on their own and then come back on showing all the stuff was turned in, and it was just like, what, like how do you expect a 5-year-old to understand this, and so it took a lot on me because I felt like I was stressed out, and then I had to like take care of 2 other kids. You also had to go work. Well, no, you didn't. We didn't do Uber.
I just released Uber.
Right. You were helping out with the other 2 at the same time. But it was just really stressful. We were also stressing a lot too about like figuring out like
finances too.
Finances. So
because I wasn't able to work.
So we were just like stressing out about that, and so it just took a toll on that, that half of 2020 where he was in kindergarten. Then first grade came and they had the whole summer to plan.
Yeah, they came back.
Everything was just like a hit, like
on the money.
And also we have to give credit to the teachers for first grade, because the teachers
first grade teacher was amazing.
Were amazing. Like
amazing
I feel
first
like,
grade teacher.
Like she was the best teacher he's had thus far.
That's right.
And I just so much appreciate her because she understood him. Like she knew, like, I think he has math anxiety. I think this and this and this. And so many things, like, and then like she also listened and tried to understand other students, just hearing her. Like she's really good at her job.
Gentle voice, everything.
Yeah. So I think for first grade, that part became so like, wow, like, okay, cool. And then also Millie was in pre-K, but we didn't send her in, and
she was in one school.
We applied. She got in. But
school didn't show up on Zoom calls.
Nope. So I basically was like, I'm not going to rely on these people to teach my kids. So I'm going to
teach Millie.
Yeah, teach Millie.
I started off teaching her.
You did.
And then
I had to take over because
she took over because I was like, I'm
this is
good.
Not for you.
This ain't for me.
Yeah.
I'll teach other things. I'll jump in and out. But the full on teaching today, is not a me role. And on top of that, I had by that time I was working a lot more and stuff like that. So,
but yeah, I had to teach her a whole lot more than I anticipated, because what I anticipated was the teacher would be on the Zoom and I can monitor, step in, look in, whatever. But I have my hands with Nash, right? Because he at the time is still a 1-year-old.
And I was supervising him as well. I had Nash most of the time, but even though I'll make zone out in my work and editing, and then Nash will drift off, and then all of a sudden he's with mommy and causing chaos, and I'm like, damn, I forgot. And then I'm like, all right, cool.
He's a different.
Nash is a different warrior,
just a different kid. But anyway, so we had our hands full. But first grade made me realize, remote learning is the shit. I love it.
Yeah.
And so now, once we're going into second grade, now Millie's going into kindergarten.
Yeah, hold on.
They're saying
we switched schools for Millie.
We did switch schools,
and then it was a lot better. It was only for 1 hour video time. When they did circle time, that's the only time they did the Zoom call. It was 30 minutes.
Not even 15 minutes. All she did was circle time.
Yeah, all she did was circle time with them, and then the rest of the day was with Crystal, pretty much teaching the whole curriculum of first kindergarten. And
a pre-K.
She's pre-K, but now. She was taking kindergarten because we was giving her kindergarten work from Lucas experience.
Yeah, because she learned so fast, so I didn't want to like keep her back. Moving. So I just basically kept going more and more and more.
And doing all of that stuff way ahead of time. And then when she got into kindergarten now, she's like, oh, this is kind of...
I already know this.
Yeah, but she's just having fun with it because...
She's with kids. Yeah. She went in person. She saw... But also, we hesitated, too, because they gave us the option of having remote or going in person. And a lot of people chose remote, and a lot of people chose in person. But we decided, no, we're going to wait. And then they decided the beginning
half and half
of October
they started
everyone in person.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of nervous to send them back in. We were like, Jeffrey kept saying, I don't know about the school year.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we're going to be taking them out.
Exactly.
Right? Because
it just didn't feel right.
It didn't feel right for him. Like, I was ready, I feel like, because I was like, we got to try because the world isn't changing. Anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know? So I was just like, I was hesitant. Trust me, I was. Because you know me, I'm a germaphobe. And I'm like, these kids ain't going to keep their mask on.
Yeah.
But I was like kind of excited for them to just be experiencing school again.
Exactly.
And I wanted that for them, right? And I felt like, I maybe they can handle it.
Yeah.
But then when my friend left the job, and I'm like, dang, that's kind of be like,
And then we heard all the complaints.
And then, yes, we heard all the complaints because we're getting inside information as well.
Even outside of just faculty, outside of our school's faculty, the school building that he and she was in, we were getting information outside of that about other schools and about the whole umbrella. So. And
then even like in terms of like receiving the emails of notifying someone in the school was affected by COVID or this, those emails were kind of terrifying too. And then also
knowing that teachers
were just
getting exposed.
Yeah.
And not really sharing that information. And hearing
exposing other people.
Hearing it from other teachers that were in the building. And if I didn't have that inside information, I would have never known that these teachers were tripping like that.
Right.
And then to top it off,
the incident that happened. The reason why we freaked out about finding out with the washing hands, not only is that unsanitary, not only is it a panini happening, but because right before the pandemic happened, the same
November
school
2019
experienced an outbreak of a virus, right? Not Omarion, right? The first version.
Not
the first version, but they had another virus that was more like disgusting and gross. I'm not even going to tell you about. But pretty much they experienced that, and then we found out at that time that they were only using sanitizers and not washing their hands with soap. So after I heard all of this, and then our child got it and then spread it to our other children,
we were fighting.
I sent an email. I told them, listen, I don't know what y'all doing, but y'all need to wash these kids' hands. And so I made sure that they would that Lucas washes his hands.
So now in-person return,
right?
2021.
First of all,
October.
Before we even get there, they were calling. They was like, well, whenever you're ready, and they would send out emails. And whenever you're ready to send them in, you can send them in earlier than October. And I was like, nah, I'm not ready. I'm ready, but I'm not ready.
Exactly. We wasn't.
And so look, now I send them back in, and then I find this out that y'all not even washing their hands. Like, it was just a mess that I ended up speaking to the assistant principal, because after speaking to another person who did not handle the situation well, the assistant principal called, and he was just way more understanding.
Yeah, and on it. And changed that rule within the weekend. So they got it on Friday, so by Monday the kids were washing their hands. To come to find out, they weren't giving them even 20 seconds to wash their hands.
Well, now we found that out.
Yeah, we found that out.
After, it wasn't even 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of nonsense is this? But anyway, that's not what broke the camel's back. What broke the camel's back was
the emails that I constantly was getting. Like, the emails for me was a little bit too much.
Everybody in the school is vaccinated, minus the children who parents haven't decided to vaccinate their children yet.
Yeah.
However, teachers and staff are. So what I was not understanding is if y'all are pushing this stuff on these kids, right, and these teachers are vaccinated, then why are these teachers getting infected, right? And so for me, it was just like unsettling that you guys are forcing these things, but they're not even getting it from the children because none of the email said, oh, and another student, right? It wasn't until after the holidays that we were getting the email that said teachers and students,
Yeah.
And so for me, it was just like, okay, y'all are requiring too much from me as a parent to be okay with keep sending my child to this school. And even New York City, let's be real.
Yeah,
New York City, New York State, whatever. Y'all being ridiculous now with requiring too much of these parents.
Yeah.
Or of people, period, because some people don't got jobs.
Exactly.
So for me and Jeffrey, we were like talking it over and over and over winter break.
Yeah.
Jeffrey just kept saying, I don't know about, sending them back.
This ain't it. It's not working right now. And it was like one of those, damn, I'm going to have to break up. You know how you're about to break up with somebody. You're like, damn, how I'm going to do it gently. How I'm going to, am I going to text? Am I going to call? Am I going to do this? So you're trying to analyze every situation, and you're like, damn, who's going to get hurt from this? Like, am I going to tell the family members? Am I going to call that close cousin I got close with? What am I going to do? And like, am I stripping away an experience for my kids and all of that? Because I don't know anyone that I know, that's been homeschooled. We city kids. So all we did was, get on the damn train by our damn selves or the bus to get to school. So, and we start that at a young age. I was walking to school, 3rd, 4th grade, 5th grade, from young. So you walk with that, that New York pride. That's part of like growing up in the hood, or just New York City itself. And we were just like, I think this is just God telling us, like, all right, we could do it because we survived 2020 doing it in the worst and in the greatest way, where the teacher was there and attentive, and we had a little bit of time, and we were excited to get them back because getting them back to school allowed us to have more time to be more creative and move around a little bit more easier, even though we still have Nash, who's not in school right now. But safety is key.
Right.
So
and for me, it was just like the math wasn't mathing. And you guys can read between the lines. But for us, if teachers are still getting it, why am I requiring my child to do the utmost to now go to this school? And I feel like, honestly, like, after hearing other stories about, the schools calling ACS on parents for not sending their kids in, for keeping them home because they don't want their kids to get infected. And then the answers being saying then vaccinate your kids and this and this. It just turned me the wrong way because it was just like, well, schools get paid for attendance. So if your kid isn't in school, that's no money going into their pocket. So for me, all I saw was really like,
the money.
Well, maybe y'all just fighting for this because of the money. And, and I was just like, I'm not sending my kid to that environment, right? I don't want my kid to be in that environment. But I was also on like the end of like, I want him and her to have that experience, right? This is Millie's first actual time being in a school. But you kept saying, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, after I would drop them off, I'll be like, damn, did I just
No, it was only one day
them?
you dropped them off.
No, that I called
after
you.
The holiday.
After the holiday.
The streets were empty. No one.
It was deserted.
The line to get into school was half empty. And even when we went to go pick them up, it was like, you said it was like,
it was deserted.
The streets were empty going back home. The traffic we normally encounter, it wasn't even there. And so it was just like, why are we sending our kids to this, not to this school, but just to school, period, because of everything that was happening. And so it just basically was like, well, we're keeping them home. They can do school at home. And we sent out the email and stuff like that. And they were just like, well, you know, like even in other emails that we saw, like remote is not an option. Even in our parent emails, like some parents are upset that they're not closing the schools and just doing remote again because it was so well done.
Exactly.
Right? The only complaint is that, yes, the kids are in front of a computer all the time, but they did it really well, you know? And for me, I was just like, they're just so fighting it and, you know, trying to like prove everybody wrong that this is going to work. Same with the V, right? Yeah. I feel like they're just trying to prove everyone wrong, but no, it's not going to work. Just even hearing that the last panini was like 7 years long.
Yeah.
When you said, we're not sending them back, it was just like kind of like confirmation, like, okay, this whole thing can last up to 7 years, and we're going to be experiencing this for 7 years, right?
Yeah.
So why am I torturing myself and my kid for the whole 7 years?
Exactly.
Like, we don't know where the world is going to be in 7 years. So listen, I'm keeping my kids close to us, and we can teach them. We can do the work, right? It's going to cut out of our time of like being creative. However, I'm willing to sacrifice that, right? Because
my kids is healthy and safe right here.
Right.
And they're getting their education, and they're getting one-on-one time learning and experiencing and being expressive, because they're able to express themselves however they feel like it with us, because we're the punching bags. So if they're frustrated about something or a question or something like that, they're able to express themselves in the way that they want to express themselves and not be judged. And then on top of that, being able to reel themselves back and actually execute and persevere for that answer. So it's definitely eye-opener. And also, I appreciate, you know, being home. It's only been a couple of weeks, and it hasn't been as strenuous as, you know, the first time. You're familiar in this realm, but yeah, there are moments that you have that you want for yourself, but obviously you put your kids first. So,
and also I do want to acknowledge that we do understand, like, we have a privilege right now, and
yeah,
just
we are
the
privileged
fact that we're able to stay home, right? That's number one, because not everybody is lucky to be able to do that, right? We're in my home from growing up, right? So we're in a space where we were able to do that, right? And we acknowledge that, and that also was great. It was in great consideration too, because it's like we had the option. Why not take it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So just the fact that, like, listen, all the cards aligned, and this is the right time, and even for us with the bigger picture of what we have planned for our lives, this was a great choice, because it's basically getting our feet wet with figuring out our schedule in terms of homeschooling schedule and then creative schedule.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And then also, it's like another thing that has just been lingering in our heads, like, should we homeschool, because of the plans that we have, you know, in our minds of what we want to do in life. It would be better for us to homeschool, right?
Yes,
so,
it would.
I don't know, like, for us, it was just like, okay, this is where everything was leading us to. And so it just became the right choice. I remember being so petrified in 2018 if I had to do homeschool, just because of my mind state back then. And then even with, like, after having 2020 experience and then going into 2020 first grade, I was a little bit nervous because I had to teach Millie too, but just seeing how everything worked out with that, it was like, wow, I can do this, right? Even you said, wow, babe, at the end, like, we did it, you know, like, you did amazing with Millie.
Yeah.
And then even, like, applying to homeschooling, the fact that I already did it before, I already knew what to do, which website to go on, figure out the paperwork, print out the paperwork, type of everything. So it was like, like, I guess, like, I was prepped before, and now going into it, you know, I have my expectations, and even, like, how Lucas will be and read him, like, all that part, I guess, was like kind of like foreshadowing what's about to happen.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like it was It was, one, a manifestation, and two, is just where we're supposed to be right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I definitely believe that. It's not a coincidence. I just feel like I said, going into it this time, I wasn't nervous because I already knew all the anxieties that I would have going into homeschool, and I don't have them. The only thing that I do have is like just my figuring out my frustrations with handling when they're having a bad day at school, right? Yes. And it's only been a couple of weeks being home, right?
And it's only if we got the days, we just figured out like how we're gonna break down our schedule. It's like only 4 hours a day. Yeah.
It's only 4 hours a day,
but we do extra, so
yeah, we do more than 4 hours. And then also the fact that like if they're having a bad day, it could be even longer.
Yeah.
So like, and then also we don't rush them to wake up. We used to wake up at 5:30 a.m. Well, I did. No,
yes.
I woke up at
5.
We wake them up at 5:30. They try to eat breakfast at 6:15. Leave the house the latest 6:45. Get to school by 7:30. Then Jeffrey,
then they start their day.
Yeah, and then
I'm rushing back to get back here because this school year, Mom allowed me to use her vehicle to drop them off to school, which was a blessing, and coming back here enough to get her here to get here in time for her to go to work. And it just aligned perfectly, like as far as like, you know, schedule. But as far as
now we don't have to worry about
that.
We let them sleep in. Like, so sleeping in is rare. It's not really sleeping in.
Yeah, because Lucas is up.
They still wake up at like 7.
Yeah.
7:30.
It's not a long sleep-in, so.
Right.
Once they get up at, you know, at the body hour, I guess, of them shaking and waking
what
up.
they used to.
Yeah. And because, you know, they get there 12 hours as needed, and they're not so tired. And, you know, they're excited to get the day started. They're always excited to get the day started. So that's nothing new to us.
But he's more excited about being
home
and schooling, which I was shocked because when we were doing virtual, you know, remote learning in the beginning of 2020,
he was adamant.
Hated it.
Yeah, he was adamant to get into school.
He was ready to go to school. Even in first grade, he was ready to go to school.
Yeah, he was like, get me in the building.
Yeah.
I want to be, you know, with the friends, and I want to be with my teacher and stuff like that. And then he went in this year, and he was like excited going, and then like he was like
no,
nah.
I want to be
I was
home.
like, that was the first time Lucas told me that he did not want to go to school, and I was like, nah, something's not right.
He's a different person in school too. Just keep that in mind. Like, in school, he's like very quiet,
very supportive.
Yeah,
and like, you know, she says like, yo, he's kind of protective and stuff like that. And like, she was the teacher this year, and like he got over the hump of being uncomfortable. And then I was like, I guess it was through the glasses. When we switched out the glasses, it was like she was like, yo, there's a whole new confidence in Lucas. Yeah. She was like, I don't know what's it with the glasses or what y'all told him, but what do
you think it is about the glasses?
He had a whole new confidence, because I guess he felt like he looks better in it. He felt more confident in it. And he's speaking more, he's sharing more, he's, you know, participating a lot more, and he's excited at the end of the school day and stuff like that. But like once we went on vacation, he was like, I'm not going. I'm good. Go back. And I'm like, again?
I don't want to go to school. I was like, shocked.
This again? And I was just like, I felt like it was just a message. And then that first day back, and feeling like I threw my kids to the wolves.
Oh, we didn't even mention too, like he had gotten sick like a couple of days before the vacation.
Yeah. It was like
they had testing, so they didn't have school those 3 days, and then they had to go back for the last 2 days before vacation. But he had gotten sick, and it was just like kind of scary.
Yeah, we was like, what is that? And then I was mad at myself that day when I dropped them off after vacation. I dropped them off, and I was like, damn, I don't think I should have dropped them off.
Oh, that's the day you're talking about from before. Okay.
After vacation.
But he didn't go. We didn't take them that Friday.
I was just like, yeah, nah. they ain't going back yet because
we
was getting emails. But come to find out, Millie's class, like a few days later, after
we didn't take
them to Millie's class was hit with the remote. Fully remote for like 10 days. Yeah,
this is part of the 10 days.
This is part of 10 days. We get the emails still
from the parents and still the school, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why.
They didn't remove our emails yet. You know, they get to that like a little bit later. But, you know.
Isn't that crazy? Like, the whole class is remote and, like, y'all fighting not to close the school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be real. Like, I get it. I totally understand there's some parents who cannot afford to keep their kids home. But what I think this is an option. It should be an option for all New York State school, all U.S. schools, because it's happening everywhere. You give people the option. The people who want to stay home, stay home. With their kids, stay home. The teachers that want to stay home, stay home. There's a lot of teachers that don't want to be in the class, but they still want to teach. Why not give them that option? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. And the teachers who do want to teach in person, go ahead and teach in person. And the kids that want to teach in school, go ahead in school. There's so many. Learn in school. There's so many options, especially with technology these days. And I just feel like we're just so far ahead.
We have the resources.
Right.
Why not use it?
We have the resources. Why not use it? Yeah. But it's the fact that like everybody's just so gun ho on like this has to work, and it's just failing everyone. It's not only just failing the students, it's failing the teachers. It's also failing the people who work in the office that can't really say anything because, you know, they can't go against their job. You know what I mean? I am not pro or against nothing.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. Yeah.
I am for being healthy and being rational human. And being human and just realizing that stuff ain't working.
Yeah.
It ain't working how they said it was going to work.
Yeah.
So I just felt like
they just need to hold themselves accountable for the information and or the lack of information or the just understand that, you know, cats is failing. Just be honest. That's it. And that you guys are still working on it. And don't say this one thing is going to change everything or revolutionize anything. Right now is causing a little bit more chaos right now. So, but that's neither near there on how you say it.
I ain't no politician, so
I ain't with it. So
I'm just a little podcaster podcasting.
Just share my opinions. We're no doctors. We're teachers now. We've been teachers since
the day we gave birth, honey.
The day we the teachers of life through God and the higher power. And in all honesty, like we're just sharing our opinions, our experience, and we're not telling you to like this is the way for you and stuff like that. If we're speaking to you and you feel like this is a calling for you, maybe it is. Like it might be a message for you, but in all honesty, we're just sharing our experience and our opinions on this topic, and that's that.
And listen, teaching kids is a job that if you're meant to do it, you should do it, because some people don't need to be teachers out here. Me, for one, I would never be a teacher. But
well, it's because it's your kid. Your kid talks to you different than versus a kid in a classroom.
I would never.
I know
be
the
a
kids
teacher.
in the classroom it causes chaos.
Even if it was this is not my kid, I would not be a teacher. I know I'm not meant to be a teacher in a classroom and stuff like that.
Oh yes, of course. I know that too for myself.
For myself,
100%.
Right. What I'm saying is, there's people out there who just love teaching and doing that. Like my sister, like my friend, she is. Well, my sister they are too. So good at it. Even just like just seeing how they interact. Like me, I'm not really like all that. Like you can just tell, like my personality is not built to be a teacher. And so what I'm saying is, like, don't just be a teacher just to be a teacher. You know what I mean? People should not just take that job because of benefits in this. Because you can tell who wants to be a teacher and who don't.
Yeah,
like
who's
that
there for
first
the money.
grade teacher was a teacher.
Yeah,
okay?
she is.
And even his pre-K teacher, they were teachers.
Yeah.
the way they were.
She started off shaky, but she was good.
But even the way
first grade
they
was
interacted,
hitting, yes.
And like even with the kids, like you could see the other teacher who was in the other pre-K class. If you remember, we were like, "Oh hell, Lucas better not be in that class." Remember?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, you just know, like, if you're supposed to be this. And I don't just want any random person being a teacher to my kids. You know what I mean? And I just feel like this was also the right time, because even those those kindergarten teachers for Millie, I was just like, I don't know about that.
It's funny though. It's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all we have on this homeschool topic. We are doing this for the rest of the year because, semester ends June.
Because we're in transition.
So we'll tell you maybe by the end of June how the year went and our experience, and if we're going to do it again for 2022 fall into 2023.
Oh yeah, there's no telling how long. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we will, because right now the way we have our expectations for this year and how it's gonna go, that's probably what's gonna happen. But yeah, if you have anything to say, if you relate to what we're talking about, or if you don't relate, make sure you comment or send us a message. And we will talk to you
in the next one.
You can support us by
shopping
lastingeverafter.com.